Hello guys, welcome to the movie recap review. Happy watching.
What are you doing? And notice here the detail in the artistry. Truly an amazing. You ready?
Do it.
The movie begins with John and Alice, a regular couple who start their mornings together. To keep them afloat, John works hard at his job selling insurance, though his boss pushes him for better results. John blames the economy, but his boss doesn't care. Meanwhile, Alice goes to a job interview, but gets rejected for lacking experience and a master's degree. She returns home just as their demanding landlord shows up asking for rent. Checking their bank account, Alice realizes that after paying rent, they'll be overdrawn by $45. That night, they attend a party where their old classmates seem happy and successful. They feel out of place in their less than stylish outfits, but manage to catch up with some friends and vent about their struggles. At least the drinks are free, and they enjoy themselves. The next morning, still struggling financially, they go into town to buy groceries. While driving on a suburban road, a truck crashes into their car at an intersection because the stop sign is missing. Luckily, they aren't hurt. While waiting for the police, Alice notices an antique shop nearby, run by an old woman. As Alice watches, the woman picks up a golden teapot from the ground and takes it inside. Alice follows her into the shop. While browsing, she finds the teapot and feels strangely drawn to it. When the old woman gets distracted by a phone call, Alice seizes the moment. Grabbing the teapot, she rushes out, jumps into John's car, and orders him to drive away. John is shocked that Alice stole something, but she insists the teapot was too beautiful to leave behind. While on the phone scheduling an interview, Alice straightens her hair and accidentally burns her forehead. Suddenly, the teapot shakes. Startled, she opens the lid. Inside, she finds cash. Suspicious, she burns herself again, and this time $700 appears. To test the theory, she kicks a chair, hurting her foot and fingers. More money appears. It's perfect timing because John has just been fired. He comes home to find the living room a mess and Alice looking exhausted. She reassures him she's fine, then hands him the teapot. John feels a strange vibration. Alice suddenly slaps him, and more cash spills out. She explains that the teapot pays them for their pain. John is skeptical, so Alice knees him in the groin. This time, the teapot shakes wildly, spitting out even more money. John realizes this could go badly and decides to return the teapot. But at the last second, he changes his mind. He takes the teapot to a TV appraisal show where the host values it at $5,000. John refuses to sell. Meanwhile, a middle-aged Asian man watching the show seems very interested and pinpoints John's location on a map. John and Alice make a pact. They'll earn $1 million, then stop. They start putting themselves through painful experiences to keep the cash flowing. They indulge in playful spanking, which the teapot seems to enjoy. Their newfound wealth doesn't just change their lifestyle, it improves their moods. At a family lunch, Alice's mother and sister are baffled by how well they're doing on John's salesman salary alone. Everything is going well until two men dressed as rabbis burst into their house and attack John, demanding the teapot. They claim it belonged to their grandmother, who couldn't rest in peace after losing it. Alice quickly hides the teapot under a pillow and lies, saying they sold it. The rabbis then demand the money from the sale. Alice uses the teapot's magic, letting John get beaten to generate cash, and hands it over. Satisfied, the rabbis leave. Shaken by the encounter, John and Alice decide to learn more about the teapot. At the library, they find a book on magical artifacts. Alice secretly tears out a page warning of the teapot's terrible consequences before John can see it. With their new wealth, they embrace luxury, buying a mansion, expensive cars, and designer clothes, and hosting lavish parties with high-profile guests. An Asian man named Ling Li arrives at their door. He introduces himself as a theologian interested in ancient artifacts, especially the teapot. John is curious, but Alice refuses to listen, fearing they'll lose everything if they give it up. Ling warns them of danger, but they shut the door on him. Soon, another visitor arrives. Arnie, their former landlord. Drunk and jealous, he demands to know how two losers ended up in a rich neighborhood. He foolishly grabs the teapot and runs outside with it. The teapot ends up in the road, where a truck runs over it. Miraculously, it remains completely undamaged. Alice is relieved but also unsettled. They return to Ling for answers. He explains that the teapot can't be destroyed, only hidden where no one can ever find it. He shares its dark history, revealing it has passed through the hands of both great and terrible people. He warns that the teapot amplifies any evil in those who use it. The last known sighting was in a Nazi concentration camp. Alice convinces John to keep the teapot, insisting they are good people who won't lose control. One night, the two rabbis break into John and Alice's house again and steal their money. They mock the couple for hiding it in the toilet tank. Hearing them, John and Alice rush out of their bedroom to confront them. The rabbis reveal they don't actually want the teapot. They know firsthand how it drives people mad. They watch their grandmother suffer from it. Instead, they let John and Alice take the pain while they collect the money. A fight breaks out. Alice gets hit, and both she and John are knocked unconscious. Things are getting worse. The teapot is now producing less money, even though they've already hurt themselves a lot. Desperate, they look for help. At a biker bar, they ask for the most ruthless person there. The bartender points someone out, and John fights him while holding the teapot, hoping for a big payout. Ling appears again, warning John that the teapot is consuming both him and Alice. Meanwhile, Alice notices something new. A passing skater falls, and the teapot reacts. She shares this with John, and they start joining painful activities like MMA fighting and even childbirth to keep the teapot producing cash. The teapot begins to take over Alice. While driving with John, she starts rambling about how pain is everywhere. When she sees a homeless man crossing the road, she speeds up, ready to run him over. At the last second, John grabs the wheel and saves the man. Furious, Alice accuses him of not understanding her. Then Alice makes another discovery. The teapot also responds to emotional pain. She tests it by viciously insulting John, and sure enough, the teapot produces money. She urges John to hurt her emotionally too. At first, he refuses, but eventually gives in, revealing that he once kissed another woman and sometimes still thinks about it. They turn this into a habit, digging up dark secrets, hurting each other with cruel words, and making themselves miserable, all for the sake of the teapot's money. Alice realizes she's never been so honest with anyone before. Instead of hurting each other, she and John start revealing painful secrets to their loved ones, upsetting them for money. They make a fortune this way. Alice confides in John that her sister's first child was actually fathered by another man, not her current husband. She nearly exposes the secret in front of her sister's husband, but changes her mind at the last moment and shifts the conversation. When they return home, John tells her she did well and that she's a good person. But Alice insists her regret is holding them back. She proposes one final act to hit $1 million, then quit. John argues they already have enough, but Alice won't listen. She suggests killing a criminal, like a pedophile or drug dealer at the amusement park, so they can profit while doing good. John refuses, but he can't change Alice's mind. They even dig a grave in preparation. But at the last moment, John decides to stop. He tells Alice to choose between him and the teapot. She doesn't answer. Heartbroken, John leaves. Desperate, he goes to Ling for help. Ling tells him it's too late. The only way to break free is for Alice to willingly give up the teapot. That night, Alice finds John sitting by the window. He begs her to return the teapot after he's gone, then jumps. Panicked, Alice rushes to him. He survives, but is badly hurt. This finally shakes her. He asks if she's ready to give the teapot to Ling. Alice agrees, but just as they're about to let go, someone else steals the teapot, Arnie, their old landlord. John and Alice track him down to reclaim the teapot, since they are the ones meant to hand it over to Ling. When they step into Arnie's house, they are met with a gruesome scene. Blood and money scattered everywhere. Arnie appears, wielding a gun, but the couple manages to overpower him. Just then, his girlfriend enters, armed with a shotgun. The two rabbis show up too, drawn in by its power. Alice realizes they must have been affected the moment they touched it during the first break-in. The thieves turn on each other. In the chaos, John and Alice are the only ones left standing. Finally free, They give the teapot to Ling. He praises them. Even kings and queens have failed to escape the teapot's grip, but they did. Later, Alice mails a check for $250,000 to her best friend. She and John are finally living a peaceful, normal life, eagerly awaiting the arrival of their baby. Meanwhile, Ling stands on a ship holding the teapot. Without hesitation, he drops it into the ocean, watching as it sinks to the depths below.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.